This is full squad.
Roll.
You. Oh. Gentle arm. Me. This is full squad. The Admiral rumors.
All right. Hey, Gearbox. All right, boost that signal punch to the interference. Let's do this. Who'd you? Doggy. Hey there, recruit. Welcome back to the House of G, home to the OGG, the original geek and the original gamer. This is Rubble Rant coming at you from an undisclosed location in the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Who doggy? Yeah, it is Monday. I hope you're having a good one, a good start to your week. Well, if you're not, then hopefully this kind of lightens the mood there and helps ease you into the rest of the week here. Let me tell you, things have been pretty crazy out there. No doubt about that. So let's kind of forget all that for a little while and get back to some roots when it comes to being a geek and those old school comic books. So yeah, who doggy? Let's go ahead and start off here with one. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I kind of forget this sometimes. So yeah, if you haven't been watching, yeah, I've had a stack of comic books. Jimmy Cricket. You're not gonna believe this. Mostly from around 22, 23 years ago. I have not gotten them bagged and boarded. I lived a kind of fairly nomadic life there here in a lot of ways. So I just simply haven't had the time or the resources to be able to get them bagged and boarded and stored up properly. That's what I've been doing here in the House of G. It's been a lot of fun, and it is long overdue for these comic books. So I discovered one BCW company that focuses on comic books supplies and everything. Managed to pick up some nice bags and boards, but here's the kicker. Now this thing's about half full, so it's starting to get some weight to it. But here we go. Transformers, how more than meets the eye. Yes, this is the comic box that I've got, that I'm putting these comic books in. It is so much fun. Let me tell you. We got Optimus Prime on the side of the box there with the Spark of Life. I mean, that's just cool if you ask me. It adds a lot of fun to, storing your comics and everything. And it really helps to tap into that geek spirit, the comic book spirit. And then on the cover here, we got one Optimus Prime cleaning the clock of one Megatron, as it should be. Autobots roll out. I have to admit, I love this box. This box is just so cool. Transformers have always been one of my favorite toys, one of my favorite comic books. Growing up as a kid and everything. And it's just really, really cool. Really, really fun to have something like that to store my comic books in. So, yeah, it's just it's those little details, that really bring the stuff to life, to really tap into that fun and tap into your inner child and whatnot. I've lived a couple of lifetimes already. I'm gonna be honest, I survived, as a young adult, survived 3 years on the streets, 2 branches of the military, dedicated 10 years to biology and science and whatnot. And I've pretty much come full circle at this point, and I've entered into my second childhood. So, I'm not complaining. It's been really nice, actually. Been really fun. Been able to tap back into that spirit of, just enjoying comic books, being a geek again. Not the modern malarkey going on, but back in the day when comic books were still fun, they still had good stories, cool characters and whatnot. So let's go ahead and start with this one here. This is one X-Men Second Coming Prepared #1. Now this is let's see here. Yeah, this is a free issue. I honestly don't even remember where I got this from. I do remember the cover. Now it says here, one will rise, one will fall, one will lead, one will sacrifice, all will unite. Dun dun dun. Now that's pretty dramatic right there. Now this is it's a free thing. I think it's just some sort of preview thing. Yeah. It says a special sneak preview of X-Men Second Coming. I vaguely remember that. Let's go and just take a quick look. I don't think there's a whole lot going on with this. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so we got this intro thing right here. It does give us a little information there. Previously, in the blink of an eye, the mutant species went from a population of 16 million to 198. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so that's the starting origin of the Second Coming or something, where the mutant population got decimated and whatnot. Okay. This is hold on here. Okay, so it's got a little mini comic here at the start. It looks like I'm actually not 100% sure who that is. So we got this feller here, young looking feller. It kind of looks like Iceman, but usually Iceman's got a little more like like the icicle type look to him. He's just all like smooth glass or something. So I'm not sure if that's Iceman or not. And then we got Magneto here, and then there's a table with what looks like a body underneath the sheet. I don't know who that's supposed to be. Very dramatic start here. Yeah, it's not saying who that is. Apparently it's a female. That's all I can get from this. It was a female. We got some more. Cable. I'm not sure who that's. That might be Havoc, possibly. I'm not 100% sure. Is it? Yeah. Who's that? Looks vaguely like Phoenix, but I don't think that's Phoenix. I don't know. Not 100% sure what's going on here. So yeah, but there's definitely something major going on. They're very grim in the dialogue and their facial expressions. Then we got Wolverine hanging out on a cliff, looking over the sea with in their Cyclops. continued in X-Men Second Coming. So it's pretty vague. It's not. There must be something going on in the regular series leading up to this. I off the top of my head, I have no idea. It's entirely possible I missed some of it when the regular comics came out. But this is a pretty. It sounds like it was a pretty major event. And then it continues with some sneak previews on the covers and the artwork and whatnot. Yeah, so this was a pretty serious dealio. Major shakeup in the, at least in the world of the X-Men and whatnot. Yeah, more pictures. Assuming some cover art. Interesting. Yeah, so this is mostly just a marketing tool to get people hyped up. Yep, this is definitely cover art right there. A couple of different sketches. I'm assuming that's the final cover for New Mutants number 12. Boom chakalaka. Yep, got some more stuff. That's an interesting one. Okay, so we got here, it looks like it's supposed to be Rogue with blue skin, Wolverine's claws, Angel's wings, and Psylocke's telepath. Yeah, that's just a mishmash of all the X-Men. Kind of hard to see it with the green screen, but it says X-Men Legacy 235 cover. That's quite the mutant mash right there. And then we got X-Force number 26. The White Queen, and I'm not sure who that is. Looks like a pretty, well, gruesome situation there, possible. Yeah, is that supposed to be Jean Grey? She's got reddish hair. I don't know if that's supposed to be Jean Grey or not. So yeah, this is just a marketing thing. Just meant to get you excited about the whole Second Coming. Boom, boom, boom. That's pretty much it. The rest of it's just the regular ads for other comic books and stuff. Interesting. It was free. I got no idea where I got it from. I cannot remember. We got a checklist here on the back here. Second Coming checklist. March 10, Chapter 1. Second Coming, number 1. April, June, May, July. So, yeah, it looks like it was a pretty major mini story arc leading. I'm assuming it was leading into like a new era of the X-Men or something. Honestly, have no idea how it went exactly. Like this thing, I'm looking at it and it rings a bell. Like I'm recognizing it. But when it comes to the Second Coming thing, I'm blanking on it completely, so I have no idea. What was the year on this? Wait, what? Oh, this is 2010. Okay, I was expecting it to be 1998 or so because that's what most of these have been. No, this is from 2010. Okay, so this is very recent. Way more recent than the stuff I've been going through. So it's like, so yeah, okay. Yeah, I exited the field, the comic book community around 2012, 2013, because by that point, I was already fed up with the nonsense they were shoveling into mainstream comic books. It's taken the comic book community in general quite a bit longer to get to that point, but we are at that point today. And so, yeah, this is right before I checked out of comic books. And so that would explain why the Second Coming thing is not really ringing a bell, because I wasn't that invested into it by that point. And a couple years after this, I just completely checked out. That explains a lot right there, actually. So, interesting. Okay. I'm willing to bet that's where a lot of things started to really go wrong in the comic book industry. I mean, there were hints of it before then, but yeah, there was a watershed moment where things just really went sideways. I'm willing to bet this is one of those catalysts that resulted in like the modern comic book scene and everything. So, okay, well, you know, let's check this out. It's in half decent condition. No, the cover is a little, it's not bent, but it's got this weird texture to it. Like, it's not, It's not like perfectly smooth. It's got like this weird wavy ripple effect to it. So it seems like something happened to it. And it's not even that old. This is way younger than most of the comic books I've gone through. It's just a little weird. I don't know if maybe, I'm thinking maybe some exposure to like moisture in the air. That'd be my guess. But overall though, other than that, it's in pretty good condition. I got no idea if it's worth anything. I'm not really worried about that. It's just it's an interesting little piece of comic book history there to have. And yeah, so okay, let's go ahead and get this baby bagged and boarded and ready for storage. I gotta say, this is just too much fun for me. Like, it's so much, it's been so awesome just being able to get back in my collection and everything and go through it. See probably the most surprising thing about it is being able to see the changes that have gone on over the last 10, 20, 30 years. That has been pretty surprising. And, you know, these older comic books 20, 25 years ago, being able to see like the hints of what was coming, for the most part, it wasn't that bad at that point, but you could see it coming. And especially in hindsight, it's been a very fascinating experience for me doing this House of G. Very enjoyable, don't get me wrong. Ooh doggy. Alright, so here we go. X-Men Second Coming, prepare, preview, free issue, 2010, ready for storage. Finally. Alright, there she goes. Okay then. Now next, we got here, you guess it, we have another free issue here from Marvel's Greatest Comics. The Invincible Iron Man, #1 free. I'm at this point, I'm willing to bet it's much like the one we just looked through, but you know, just based on Iron Man. Yeah, they seem to have done a lot of similar changes across the board there with their different titles. Let's on the inside it has an ad for Ultimates. Okay, never got into the Ultimates from March of 2010. So yeah, this is definitely the same time frame. March of 2010. It doesn't have the usual information like the last one did when it comes to, you know, the creation of the comic, but from that ad is definitely the same time frame. Yeah, and the Ultimates thing, from what I understand about it, I was not interested in it at all. But this one is about the Invincible Iron Man. Let's see here. Yeah, so starts off in Africa for some reason. We'll find out here why in a second. Just a bunch of villagers doing their thing. Oh, somebody has... Wait a minute. Oh, okay, so it started off talking about how some of these people, only a fraction of these people have cell phones. And this young girl right there, she has a cell phone, which it looks like the Iron Man symbol on it. So apparently Tony Stark has something to do with these people having cell phones, I guess. Well, let's continue here. Whoa, wait, what? Whoa, okay. That was an unexpected plot twist right there. Okay, so we got a bunch of children here, and all of a sudden it looks like the arc reactor on their chest. Like, I don't know where it came from. And then their hands, they got the repulsors in their hands. So I got no idea. Yeah, so at first glance, that looks pretty troublesome for Iron Man. And they just straight up explode. So whatever's going on here, it turns them into human bombs. And just on the surface, it looks like there's an obvious connection to Tony Stark. But that would be something that, that's not something that Tony Stark would do. So yeah, let's see if we can figure out what's going on here exactly. Oh, hoo doggy. Okay. This might get my channel in trouble, but let's go ahead and okay, I want to say this is Tony Stark. It looks like, yeah, okay. Oh, so that I did not know, or at least I don't remember. So apparently at some point Tony Stark was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was not aware of that. Now, this is 2010, so that's probably why. Like I said before, a couple years after this, I checked out comic books yeah, so there's plenty of stuff that went on after that I just have no idea on. So we start off here. We got Tony Stark. This is on a helicarrier carrier, and he's got himself a lady friend. As you can see, like I said, this might. I don't know how I'm doing. I'm still working on the camera stuff. Oh, that's because it's over here, isn't it? Yep. There we go. Okay, so yeah, he's got himself a lady friend there as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not sure who she is. I'm a little surprised. Well, you know, this is 2010. That would probably not fly today. Let's just put it that way. I'm not complaining, personally. Okay, so she's got a heavy accent. Heavy accent. I'm guessing she might be Russian or something like that. Wouldn't that surprise me? He is Tony Stark. He is definitely a billionaire playboy, even if he is currently the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ooh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to show that panel. It's not that risky per se, but it's still a bit, yeah. I am trying to keep it relatively PG-13. Let's just put it that way. That one's kind of pushing it a little bit much there, so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying for the sake of the story. So just to clarify there. Okay, so yeah, he is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point. Yeah, it looks like they've gotten reports of those kids just exploding in that marketplace. Okay, so we got some what was the name of it? Total Recall. We got a Total Recall moment here. Some dude going through a security scanner. Boom, you can see a skeleton. Yeah, that one's ripped right out of Total Recall there. I'm not sure who he is even. Let's see here. I got no idea. So yeah, there's some young dude, he's a younger man, but I'm guessing he's some sort of hotshot tech dude or something. That's my guess. Oh, hello. Okay, so I was right about that much. Just not the way I was expecting. Oh, okay, so it's starting to come together. So yeah, you got this young man comes into, he goes through security, comes into this board meeting or something. I don't know who he is, but he does have like a bag or a briefcase with him. I think a bag. Starts pulling stuff out of the bag there. It gets very interesting very fast. And let's see here. Okay, so he's talking about humans' caloric processings, the biological processes. Now, as biologists, the human body produces an incredible amount of energy every single day, every single moment. You would be surprised how much energy your body generates just with every breath you take. It's actually pretty amazing. And so this kind of actually, see, that's pretty much what he's talking about there. The biological function of the human body. So as a biologist, this has got my attention all of a sudden. So there is some actual real scientific basis for what's about to happen. So he's talking about tapping into that caloric process, the metabolic process there. So he's got these little finger doodads that he apparently uses to tap into his own biological energy production, which, the core foundation of the human metabolic process are mitochondria. So there's some, I'm a little impressed. There is some actual legitimate scientific thinking behind the scene right here. And this is 2010. So yeah, this is one of the reasons why comic books became so popular. They were founded in reality. Granted, it was taken to extremes and stuff like that, that realistically it's just not going to happen. But they were founded in reality. That's what makes it so much fun. It's all about what if. Just thinking big, scientifically, fantasy, stuff like that. That's what comic books were always about. That modern comic books, it's just utter nonsense. But this is, Oh, he's not putting them out. Okay, so apparently he had, I thought he pulled them out of his bag or something. But in actuality, yeah, he's got like these gloves. They're like the skin, basically some sort of like fake skin over his hands to cover up the whatever it is he did to his body. So yeah, he taps into his own biological processes and literally just, fries the entire board. So I'm starting to think he's got something to do with the opening scene with those human bombs. Yeah, jumps out, boom. So I'm assuming he's the villain in this particular story. And then, boom, boom. Yeah, it looks like he's still in helicarrier there. Yeah, Director Stark, he's, in his Iron Man armor, doing his thing as Iron Man. I think that's like a Rogues Gallery hologram setup there. That might be War Machine, actually. That guy looks like a villain, though. I forget his name. Apparently a combination of characters that have passed in and out of his career as Iron Man. Okay, so then you got this dude again. Yeah, so this is so this is not quite like the last one. The last one had, I think, like 4 or 5 pages of actual comic book and a bunch of cover art and whatnot. This looks like it's a full-blown issue of Iron Man. Hold on. Okay. So one of the things about Iron Man is that he's created this armor and everything. He's trying to keep a tight lid on it to keep it from getting out into the world, to where madmen and whatnot could get a hold of it and do all kinds of serious damage with it. So that's been his number one nightmare, is that somebody was going to make this type of technology available, where normal people, well, the crazy ones at least, would get a hold of it and do crazy things with it. And that's pretty much what's going on here with this issue. So yeah, he's in some sort of a combat situation, fighting some dudes. Now he doesn't, he's not looking to kill these guys, just incapacitate them and whatnot. And then boom, out of nowhere, these guys could just get fried. And that's when it clicks for him. He realizes that somebody has taken his Iron Man technology, and they've done, well, it might not even be his technology per se, but they've come up with something similar to it, and they've made it available for that type of stuff. So it looks like that's the story arc for this issue, and it sounds like, well, especially based on the X-Men reboot, it sounds like this is leading into some sort of story arc with the Iron Man series. Kind of interesting. I don't know. I would have to read it to find out exactly what's going on with it. I do remember reading this back in the day. I remember that the dude with the finger thingies, that is jumping out at me. So I do remember this. I don't remember what comes after it, though. The main series and everything. I've always enjoyed Iron Man. He hasn't been one of my main ones, though. Resources have been tight in the past and stuff, so I've had to be, kind of picky and choosy. So I haven't always kept up with the Iron Man titles and everything. But he is a fun character. A very interesting character. So yeah, as a free issue, this does make me interested in buying the Iron Man title, at least at the time, and finding out exactly what's going on. So this is they didn't do a bad job with this one, and this is 2010, so at that point they were still capable of producing fun and interesting stories. Not too shabby. Now the condition of this is not terrible. I wouldn't say near mint, but it's pretty good. It is pretty good. And yeah, so all right, so let's go ahead and bag and board this baby and get her into storage. All right. Yeah, just gotta get the bag, get the board, boom shakalaka. Still got quite a few here. I've gone through quite a few, but still got a pretty solid stack left to work with here. get that baby in there. Boom, chakalaka. I'm telling you, this makes me excited about comic books all over again. The old school ones, the back issues, not the modern stuff. Put the corner of the binder in there, and boom, it just slides in like butter. Boom, chakalaka. All right, let's get this folded over. Like I said, I don't like using the tape because then it leaves the residue behind, and I just don't like doing that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but if, for me, yeah, it's just not how I roll. And even in 2010, these are modern bags and boards. Even from 2010, it doesn't quite fit. The board is definitely not as wide as the comic book. I mean, I should go to show. I should tell you just how much they've changed just in the last 10 years. It's kind of telling, if you ask me, in my humble opinion. Interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy into the box. Boom, chakalaka. There we go. All right. Okay, so. Boom, boom, boom. Let's do this. All right. So now, let's see here. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is from May of 1998. We have got... I'm working on the camera. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, so we got Batman, Hunter Spoiler, Blunt Trauma, Cataclysm. Okay, so yeah, I vaguely remember the Cataclysm event. I think it was some sort of like massive earthquake in Gotham or something. So this is a Batman title, but for some reason Huntress and Spoiler are just given top billing there. Personally, it's a little annoying because it is an actual Batman title. They took the Batman and they just squashed it like that. So tiny compared to the Huntress and Spoiler. That's just kind of bass backwards there, if you ask me. But it is what it is at this point. And this is number one, issue number one. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think they were doing something kind of weird with this particular arc. Because down here, it says issue number one. And then down here it says something about 13. So I don't know if these were supposed to be one shots. Yeah, I'm just not sure. But it starts off, okay, Blunt Trauma, boom. Yeah, there's it looks like it's in the process of the earthquake or something. Yeah, buildings are just crumbling, falling apart. There's there we go. Yeah, that thing is just about ready to fall on some people. That chick knocks the dude down or something. Let's see here. Might be a little too close there. There we go. That's a little bit better. And yeah, it's just chaos and havoc. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Gotham. So I think this is at the start of the Cataclysm. Yes, we got that blonde chick. I don't know. So then she knocks the guy down out of the way, and then a couple pages later, we got the Huntress coming out of the rubble. I don't know if she's connected to the blonde chick or not. I actually don't know that much about the Huntress. Then we got it looks like a bunch of escaped prisoners from prison. I'm assuming Blackgate or something. Yeah, they've gotten loose, and it looks like they're bickering amongst themselves, as you might expect. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in short order. It cuts to, yeah, so they're still kind of bickering. Boom, boom, boom. And then it cuts to some other people in a different situation, trying to help each other out and whatnot. So yeah, Cataclysm sounds like a pretty fitting name for this story arc. And Spoiler. Okay, so Spoiler, I vaguely remember Spoiler. So boom, she pops onto the scene. Maybe they're not all trying to help each other, apparently. Spoiler, I don't remember who she is. I remember the character, and the costume looks familiar, but I just don't know anything about the character. Yeah, there are such things. I mean, because the number of characters in the Batman universe is just I don't know. They kind of exploded over the last decade or so. And yeah, I don't have a problem with new characters and stuff like that. But when you have to come up with new characters instead of providing growth for older, more established characters, I mean, if that's your primary selling point, is just constantly cranking out new characters, there's a problem. Because that means that the characters that you have established, they're not growing, they're not being used. Something's not right there. Because you should be able to take those established characters and build stories around them. But if you gotta keep cranking out new ones, the creative process is very fascinating. In some ways, it's easier to come up with something new than it is to once it's established, to continue to make it grow. That's where the real work comes in. It's very easy to create a new character. I've created plenty of characters of my own. Just playing around, sitting in my living room, trying to think of cool ideas and stuff like that. I've come up with plenty of characters. The hard part, it's so easy coming up with a new character. The hard part is creating an interesting character that has longevity and potential for growth. That is the most difficult part. So that should tell you something right there with using the Batman family as a good example. They just keep coming up, they just keep bringing in new characters, but I mean, what are they doing with the old ones? That was just a little side rant that I was not actually planning on. Like I said, going through these issues has been very, very interesting. There have been some stuff that I was expecting, and then there have been some unexpected surprises like that right there. It gives you a really good perspective over how comics in the industry have changed just over the last 10 years, let alone the last 20 or 30 years. And okay, so you got Huntress and Spoiler teaming up, and I guess they're focusing on these escaped prisoners or something by the looks of it. Yeah, Blackgate prison grace. Okay. Yeah, they definitely escaped from Blackgate. What's going on? Okay. Yeah, these guys are still Blackgate, but apparently they had a firebug amongst them, sets off some sort of firebomb, and the dude's all like, "Fantastic, yeah." Pyro. Looks like some sort of pyro. Kind of a Joker-esque look to him right there, but I mean, it's not the Joker, as far as I can tell. But he's definitely been bit by the firebug. So yeah, you got the Huntress here. And make no mistake, she looks like a woman, for sure. Modern Marvel. I doubt you're going to see much of this in the modern Marvel universe. Let's just put it that way. So it's just basically just Havoc and Chaos, Huntress and I keep hearing her name, Spoiler. They're just running around Gotham and basically putting out these situations. Now, so they're going up against a bunch of escaped convicts from Blackgate by themselves. That's a little much for me, but it's not as bad as the stuff going on nowadays, at least. I don't know. I know a lot of people love Huntress. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of her. It's just personal preference at that point. But at least they drew her like a woman. You look at her, you can tell she's a woman. And, being a crime fighter, she's, athletic, physically fit, as she should be. So, in that regard, at least they did her right. And Just as for the character herself, though, I was never interested in her. Oh, okay, so that answers that question. Partially, at least. So the spoiler is, well, at the very least, she's that blonde chick from the start of the comic book. Okay, so that's news to me. So, yeah, the blonde chick is not the Huntress in a wig or something. She's actually the spoiler. Okay, that's good to know. So that's what I'm saying. So, like, if you don't know, like me, I didn't know who the spoiler was. You get the blonde chick at the beginning, she disappears from the story, but the spoiler pops up. I never crossed my mind that they might be one and the same. I was actually thinking she had a connection to Huntress. Well, she does, just not the one I was thinking. And then it's revealed towards the end here that she is, in fact, the spoiler. That's how you write a story. That's, yeah. So, I mean, I can see why people like the Huntress. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, looking at this panel, she's clearly athletic and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I can see the interest. I'm not knocking them. People that are fans of her, not knocking it. Just never the character herself. I just never really got into. But I can see it. I can see why people like her. And then you got the spoiler. She's athletic. She's not like a freaking butterball pretending to be a hero. She's athletic. I guess she's more of an anti-hero or something like that. But then you get the spoiler, who I guess is trying to be a hero. Like I said, I don't know anything about her. So yeah, the bulk of this particular issue, they're going after the escaped convicts from Blackgate. After a tough fight and whatnot, they come out on top. First responders show up to take care of the mess and everything, and the prisoners. There you have it. That's pretty much the bulk of this particular story. Yeah, that's the end of it right there. That is Batman Cataclysm, Huntress and Spoiler, Blunt Trauma, 1998. It was alright. It was alright. I'm just... I don't know. The Spoiler, she just seems like a pretty generic character. No face, her mask has no face to it. All purple. Yeah, don't get me... There's stuff about the use of the color purple I'm not going to get into, because this isn't that kind of live stream. It's not that kind of rant. But yeah, there's certain things about the color purple. And her outfit's like all purple. And there's a lot of purple in the Huntress's uniform. Costume. And that should tell you quite a bit about the characters. Let's just put it that way. If you have any idea what I'm talking about, like I said, I'm not going to get into that. But the spoiler, especially, I mean, her costume is just generic. It's so generic. I don't know. Like the Huntress, you can tell, it's different. Yeah, it's in the Batman vein, but she makes it her own. You can tell it's the Huntress. But the spoiler, it just looks like something you could pull out of some random generic comic book. It doesn't scream Batman to me. Let's put it that way. You got a little bit on the utility belt there, and that's really just about it. So, I don't know. It was an okay issue. If you're a fan of the Huntress, you'd probably enjoy it. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's it is what it is, I guess you could say. So, Hoodoggy. Let's take a look here. It's in decent condition. I want to say this was a one shot, possibly. I think I want to say they did a series of one shots. Oh, you know what? Okay. Yeah, I want to say they did a series of one shots. They were connected, but for some reason they did them as one shots. I don't really understand. It was a marketing thing, obviously. You know how people love to buy number ones, thinking that's going to be the next big comic book that's going to be worth a lot of money someday. So many quote unquote normies have gotten into that thing where the mindset where, oh, it's the number one issue, I'm going to buy it, and it's going to make me money. And then Marvel, DC, these comic book companies, they picked up on it, and they're like, well, if we make a bunch of #1 issues, it's going to boost sales and whatnot. They were doing it back then. This is 1998. Even back then, they were doing this, I think. And with the next comic book we're going to go through, hopefully you'll understand why I'm thinking this. So it's because it is the Cataclysm event #1. However, it's also number 13. And I'm thinking that means something, because that's not comic books in general. When you get the titles or the names of the creators of the comic, that number is not usually there. So that is, in my experience, that's different and that's new. And I'm thinking these are a bunch of #1s that were connected. Instead of making them a series, they made them a series of one-shots. And my guess is it was a marketing ploy. Now, with that said, this is in pretty good condition. Not quite near mint, but it's in pretty good condition. Mostly because the cover does have these tiny little pock marks, I don't know, maybe there was like grains of sand or dirt like in between them or something, and got pressed down into the cover. I mean, it doesn't look dirty. It's just got the little pock marks as if something was sitting there at some point. Other than that, though, it's in pretty good condition. Yeah, it's a shame that I wasn't able to take better care of these, but I am very grateful that I still have my collection. Honestly, it is a small miracle that my comic books survived the journey that they have been on over the last 10, 20, 30 years. Let me tell you. Okay, Udoggy. Let's get this baby ready for storage here. Yep, got a bag and a board. There's no paid sponsorship. BCW. These seem like pretty quality bags and boards. They're the first ones I bought in a very long time. Probably over a decade that I bought. At least over a decade since I bought anything like that, let alone comic books. And these seem like pretty decent quality. These are modern bags and boards, but they don't fit the stuff from even like 10 years ago. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for long-term storage, because it's not like you got a half an inch of comic book sticking out. It's just barely not big enough. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. But it is a little surprising how much the dimensions of comic books have changed in just the last 10 years. It's kind of crazy. In my humble opinion, at least. Okay, and there you have it. It's Batman, Cataclysm, Huntress and Spoiler, Blunt Trauma, bagged and boarded, ready for storage. It was an okay story. It was okay. My primary issue is I'm just not that interested in these particular characters. Quite honest. To be perfectly honest, I read Batman for Batman. That's really all there is to it. It's one thing to have the supporting characters, but when you got two side characters taking front and center, it just doesn't grab my attention. That's just me. Like I said, I know there are people that are fans of the Huntress. I'm assuming they're fans of the Spoiler, which I honestly haven't heard of the Spoiler in a long time. I'm not even sure she's still around, but I know the Huntress is still going. I know there's some people that are very much into the Huntress. Okay, so let's get to the next one here. So we have got Batman, Black Gate, Isle of Men, Cataclysm. Number 1. Boom, yummy. This is from April of 1998. Yeah, that last one was May of 1998. This one's from April, so April, May. This one came before that last one with the Huntress and Spoiler. As you see down here, it does say number 8. Now, the last one was number 13, which came out a month after this one. However, they're both number 1 for the Cataclysm event. So what this is telling me was that these are in fact connected, but instead of doing a sequential title, they broke it down into a series of one-shots, even though they were all connected. Like I said, it was a marketing ploy, and this pretty much confirms it for me, because, and this is from 1998. What is that, 23 years ago at this point? So even back then, they were pulling stuff like this. It was just a sign of things to come. It wasn't so bad that I lost interest in the comic book community at that time. When I say community, I'm referring to the companies, not my fellow geeks that would actually buy these and read these. Yeah, so in that regard, I'm referring to the companies themselves. So at this point, I had not lost interest in comic books, but the signs were there, and they were building slowly over time. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one now. As you can see here, we actually have Batman on the cover. So Blackgate Isle of Men, this is 1 month before the previous one. So my first reaction is that this is going to be a story about those prisoners escaping Black Isle. Because that guy on the cover does kind of look like the dude in that other issue with the Huntress and the spoiler. Yeah, so here we are, starting off, Isle of Men, there's Blackgate Prison, boom chakalaka. Surprise, surprise. Gosh. Oh, Jiminy Cricket. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to try and make this a short side rant. So there's an ad right inside the front cover. Nightwing Huntress, good and evil, love and hate, passion and violence. And there you can see them just smooshing like crazy. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that at all. It's like, what? Oh, Jiminy freaking Cricket, man. This is, that right there, that is a very, at least as far as 1998 goes, that right there is a very good indicator of what's to come in the world of comics. Especially Marvel and DC. So yeah, this nonsense started a long time ago. So from 1998. This is not why I read comic books. I don't give a rat's ass about crazy love stories. What is this? This is 1998. Huntress and Nightwing, and the entire selling point is they're getting it on. Like, what is this? Is this like some sort of like woman's romance novel? I mean, what is this? This is. I mean, look at the cover, or the artwork at least. That's something you expect to see on like some woman's romance novel. You got some pirate dude with his wench, and there's all hot and heavy and passionate, and I don't want to read that. It's like, what is this? That is not why I read comic books. What is this? And this is 1998. That's not comic books. I'm sorry. That is a completely different genre of entertainment being shoehorned and crammed into the comic book world. Oh my goodness. So yeah, looking at this stuff in hindsight is 2020. The signs were there. They were very much there. I cannot make this stuff up. I can't. It's right there in black and white and color for you to see. Oh, Jiminy Cricket. Okay, so yeah, so it's got a little bit of a montage there. We got several prisoners, and they got the little image of their actual villain identities behind them and everything. So yeah, they're so these are some bad guys right there. And let's see, either this is right before, apparently this is right before the Cataclysm goes down, at least in this area. Okay, so it looks like somebody's on death row. Clock's ticking. Some about 5 hours until their sentence is executed, so to speak. There's a nun there, and so I get the feeling that this is going to be some fortuitous timing for this particular prisoner, inmate, bad guy, very bad guy. Well, let's see here. Yep. Okay. Yeah. 5 hours before he's executed, and boom, Cataclysm hits. That structure starts to crumble. Stuff just starts falling apart. And if we go to the next page here, I mean, it's so bad. It actually creates basically like a miniature tidal wave almost, miniature tsunami. It's not overwhelmingly huge, but I mean that hits. That structure is a good sized structure, and it hits like over halfway up. So that's a pretty that's a pretty big tidal wave right there, just by the looking at that. So yeah, it sounds like I don't know what caused the cataclysm. As far as I know, Gotham was never supposed to be like heavy with earthquakes or anything like that. So I'm actually not sure where the cataclysm came from exactly. What? What? What is this? Wait. Stop the presses. Stop the presses. What? I don't know what this is. Okay. Turn the page. Yeah, that's one of the things about comic books. You never know what you're gonna find with every page you turn. And look at this. This is what we got here. Did aliens kidnap the Dark Knight? What? See the truth this April. And a 64-page special by Alan Grant. Who else was that? Norm Brayfogle and James Hawkins. I got no idea. Alan Grant sounds... Yeah, Alan Grant, I know that name. The other two, I don't know. Batman, The Abduction. What is this? What? He gets abducted by aliens? Are you serious with this? Is this a... This issue is from April of 1998. Is this an April Fool's joke? What? What? I don't know what to say. That's that. Of all the things I might have been expecting, that wasn't it. So what is this? So this is what I'm talking about. It's just back in the day. I that's an X-Files type of thing. Batman and aliens. I'm sorry. I can't even wrap my mind around that one. Jiminy Cricket, man. I'm kind of curious to read it just to see exactly where they were going with it. But my gut feeling is that was probably some pretty goofy stuff. It was a 64-page one-shot by the sounds of it. If anybody's ever heard of it, read it, please let me know. Let me know what you thought of it down below. Leave a comment. I don't even know what to say to that. Oh, Jimmy freaking Cricket, man. Okay, so Cataclysm hits. The prison's like filling up with water. The guards in the booth. So the guard's in the booth, but he gets hit with a blast of water, which busts through the booth and everything. I guess like washes him away or something. So most of the prisoners are trapped. Somehow this guy's loose. He's going to hit the release thing to get everybody free so they can get out of the so they don't drown. Which that's actually pretty nice of him, considering he's a hardened criminal. Uh, wait a minute. Okay, so yeah, he pulls the switch. Some of the cages pop free, but some of them short out from the water, and the doors won't open. And they're, you know, those particular prisoners, they don't make it. So, unfortunate. But it is a cataclysm. And then parts of the prison that have not been flooded. Yeah, there's a big old fight going on between the guards and the prisoners, as you might expect. And let's see where this leads here. Yeah, it's just fighting, lots of fighting, dialogue. Yeah, I don't sit here and read the entire comic book, at least not on the stream, because that would just take forever. So, try to skim through it here a little bit. And then, okay, so yes, it's all just guards versus prisoners for several pages, actually. And then, finally, boom, up comes Batman. So yeah, he's finally making his way to the prison. He's in the water, being all stealthy and everything. Let's see exactly what he's going to do here. Yeah, he makes his way onto the island. He doesn't have his mask on for some reason. Okay, then he finally puts his cowl on. Wait. Okay, so... Oh, derpy derp. Okay, so he took his cowl off and wrapped it around his waist. So that's you know, details. That's what I'm talking about. The best comic books have a basis in reality. So I'm sitting there looking at him, it's like, where's his cowl? Where's his mask? And then one of the panels on the next page, he's got his mask on, he's got his cape and everything. I'm like, where did that come from? So I go back, boom, there it is. It's wrapped around his waist. He doesn't just pull it out of thin air. They actually account for it in the previous panels. That is good writing right there. You know? So it's like, it makes sense. And they don't sit there and point it out. They're not like, hey, look, he's wearing his cape and cowl around his waist. You know, as a Batman fan and everything, it's like you catch those little details. You ask the questions. It's like, wait a minute. So then you go back, and then the artwork answers the question for you. That is how a good comic book works. And that's intelligent writing, intelligent artwork, and you know, very intelligent creativity. It's the details. The details matter. So yeah, you got Batman doing his thing. Okay, so this guy's different.